Hello, everyone. I am. Hello, I am waiting on my guest from the United Kingdom. I know it's like 2 a.m. there. I know that she will be joining us, so hopefully she's not having any issues. We tested it earlier and everything was just fine. So hopefully she didn't fall asleep or she's not having any issues. I am going to start out the podcast with a bit of a share. So, Love Over Coffee has branched off into a subscription box. It's called Love Over Coffee Reclaiming Self, box number 1. This was the February March box. So, current subscribers have until tomorrow to basically commit and pay. If you are interested in this box, it is $30 plus shipping, and it is in pre-launch until tomorrow, and then it will open to other subscribers. I am only doing 20 boxes. So if you're interested, it's speak now or forever hold your peace. But let me go ahead and just share with you briefly. So the box has items. It will also contain knowledge and information about healing trauma, self-care and self-love practices and rituals, and making time each day to do that. So daily intentional action. So I know that many of you may have seen the box before, but I just want to share it with you briefly. So it comes with a personalized thank you card. It also comes with a welcome to the lifestyle. Also, it contains all of the creators and contributors that put an item in the box. It should have their business card, but if for some reason it does not, it has their name. So I want to make sure that you can contact them or contact me, and I'll make sure that you get in touch with them if there's something that they included and you want to know more about it. Also, many of them are creators of many different items, so it may be that you just want to find out more about them. Self-love begins at gnome. So there is a gnome in the box. This one in particular was for the February March box. That was a choice item. Another choice item was you could pick a coaster. Okay. This is actually purple, but it looks blue on there, doesn't it? So this is a coaster. It also came with a pair of earrings. It came with a pair of earrings, a kiss and a hug, and you got to basically choose those. There were pink ones, red ones, green ones. There was, I want to say, like a reddish gold flaked one. And then there was also a rose quartz, because rose quartz is for unconditional love and healing in relationships. And you know, self-care and self-love and healing doesn't just come from a relationship that failed, but we are sometimes in relationships with family and with friends that are also toxic. Perhaps we had something happen to us as a child that was traumatic, sometimes being in foster care, divorce, sexual abuse, sexual assault. So all of those things create trauma, And so we're not just healing from narcissistic abuse, but we're also healing from all kinds of trauma. And then there's trauma in the world. Many of us are sensitive to what is happening around us: police brutality, racial injustice. So there are all kinds of things that create trauma. And so the idea behind the box is to take a moment and have a moment of silence or a moment of quiet that gives you a chance to heal. Okay. There's also an ink pen in the box, because there's also some stationery in the box for you to write a love letter to yourself. There's a candle in the box. Like I said, the box contains items, knowledge, and information and activities to help you practice self-care. So this is a candle. Chloe made these, and I must tell you, Chloe says there is a secret sauce, and I believe her because these smell amazing. I will tell you that in the May-June box, there will be another candle, and I honestly cannot wait to smell them. There are other items. There's a bookmark in this box. It says, "Nothing can dim the light that shines from within." And it has a little coffee cup charm. It does not, you do not have to necessarily be a coffee drinker, because some future boxes will contain some items for tea and hot chocolate. I do want to share with you, this particular box had a coffee mug in it. This coffee mug is designed by me, but it was actually made by a friend of mine. I'm going to go ahead and open this one so you can see it. So it has a little heart, steam coming out of it, the word love. So I don't know how clear it is on your screen. It has a black handle with a black rim. So that is the coffee cup. It is dishwasher and microwave safe. I started to say Microsoft, and microwave safe. So that is one of the bigger items in the box. I still am trying to decide, honestly, if a mug will be in every box, because I keep thinking, how many mugs can you have? Of course you are, Mish, because the May-June one hasn't shipped yet. So I know you're waiting. People are excited. So I don't know if I'll include a mug in every box, because I keep thinking, like I said, how many mugs can one person have? Although most of us have many, many more. There's also some quote cards in here. This one happens to say, pro me is not anti you. You can carry this in your purse as an affirmation. It has a place for you to write notes on it. So, yes, Mish, you can say that you are excited. Again, like I said, there's stationery in there for you to write a love letter to yourself. So, lots of goodies in the box. Like I said, the box is $30 plus shipping. If you're a current subscriber and it is in pre-launch, then you save shipping. Right now, I'm shipping only in the US, Canada, and possibly Mexico, but we have not branched out of North America. But right now, this is the first year for the box, and the upcoming box will be the second one, and I only expect it to grow. So please, um, tomorrow I will post on my personal page after I have commitment and payment from current subscribers. And once that happens, then it will be open to everyone. All right. So I don't know where my guest is. I don't know what happened to her. Let me see if I can. I'm going to call her on Facebook and see what's going on. Yes, Mish, you could. Hmm. So I'm calling her to see where she is. Like I said, I know it's 2 a.m. over there. I don't know. Deneen, you have not missed anything. For some reason, my guest has not shown up yet. We spoke earlier and she logged in. And everything was working. So I don't know if she's having issues or what exactly is going on. Can everybody out there hear me? So I don't know where she is. Well, we have 8 people watching. I'm drinking some hot coffee. I've got a brownie saved for later. Um, hmm. Let me see. I see her on Facebook, but I see her. I'm wondering if she's having some issues. Hey, Billy, thanks for joining. Thanks, Carol. Thanks, Shirley, Deneen, Mish. I'm glad everyone is here. If anyone in the United Kingdom has her phone number, if they could call her, that would be great. I do see that she's online, but for some reason, I don't know. Don't know if the link is bad for her or what's going on here. Billy, can you call her? The best of plans, right? Yes, Mish, possibly in June is what I'm thinking. Well, apologies for those of you who are watching. I know some of you may be from the United Kingdom. And Maybe she's trying. Let me send her the link again. Let me see. All right, let me send it again. All right, let's call her again on Facebook. Aha. The show must go on. Well, I know she has lots of trolls online.
Hello.
Hey, Bernadette. Our guest has not shown up. I'm wondering if she's having some issues. We tested out the system earlier, though, and there was no problem. So I'm just getting a little worried. I know she has a lot of trolls online for her advocacy. So I was just calling to see if maybe she could pick up on Facebook.
Oh, what do you mean? On the live with you?
Uh-huh. Yeah. But because it says Victoria is busy. Let me see. All right, well, we'll hang up and I'll try again. All right, bye.
Keep me updated.
Okay, all right, bye. Deneen, you're here. What do you mean you weren't here? You were here. Well, I sent her the link again. So let's give it a couple more minutes. I thank everyone for their patience and for waiting. So thank you again. Yes, that was Bernadette. Bernadette is my social media and PR person. She helps with the posts and things like that. So that's why she's in this message thread, because she picked up. But I'm just wondering where Victoria is. Let me see. Where is Victoria's name? Let me see. Well, if she doesn't join us tonight, we will have her back next week. Next week, another friend of mine is going to join us to talk about the United States and our judicial system here, because much around the world, the judicial system often does not protect or understand narcissism. And narcissistic abuse is one of the most confusing types of abuse, because often it is not always accompanied with physical abuse. It is a lot of mental and emotional, and it comes with a great deal of bonding and love bombing with the individual, so that by the time you realize what is happening, your brain is so confused in its attempt to separate what's real from what's not real. And it really can be very confusing and very difficult to escape. Um, and other people don't understand why it was not a normal relationship, so it is not a normal breakup. It is not a normal walking away as though nothing happened, or you're ready to move on with your life. Because the individual that you were involved with does not always leave you alone, and therefore, every time there's a connection, it is bringing back the bonding. And that is what is so confusing and so difficult about it. Um, Deneen, the next self care box is May, June, and it'll go out um, toward the first part of June. All right. Well, I just don't seem to have connection with her right now. Um, yes, so that is another piece of the puzzle. You are so correct. Because Carol, you're right. The narcissist knows how to not only manipulate you and intimidate you, gaslight you, but the system itself is usually flawed to where I know in my own situation, the narcissist was able to file all kinds of processes and charges and filings with lots of different offices because everyone has a right to file something and then they follow up. So even though they are filing and the office is following up, the follow up often can take time. And during that time, you're being triggered and you're being stalked and you're being basically manipulated not only by the narcissist but also by the system. Janine, the box is $30 plus shipping, and it won't ship out until the end of May, first part of June, probably more the first part of June. I'm still in the process of getting together the box, getting together all the items, putting it all together in the box, and all of that. So it is a labor of love. So, um, well, she says that she's been inactive for 5 minutes, but there has been no answer and no follow through. Hmm. Well, I don't know what to think. I did send her the link again, so hopefully. Well, but Deneen, part of what she was doing was using what was true about her as also a way to manipulate. And so it was a way for her to get the things that she needed and desired by playing victim. And she really was a victim of her own illness, not just narcissism, but she was a victim of her own illness and her own disability. But she learned to play that as a way to manipulate, intimidate, and gaslight individuals. And like I said, it's a very insidiously twisted kind of abuse because what may necessarily be true about them is also what they use to manipulate other people. And they usually manipulate a lot of other people in order to gain. Yes, Billy, I do. I understand Um, Janine, you don't miss her. I'm going to tell you that you don't miss her. You miss the illusion of her. There's a very big difference between those two things. So, when you are involved in a narcissistic relationship, you don't know the real person. You never knew the real person. The real person was part of the game that they hid from you. The illusion is what you are attached to. So you're attached to the helping person, the person who wants to love the individual and help the individual and give the individual lots of second chances and lots of benefit of the doubt. But I'm here to tell you that as much as you feel as though you loved the individual, you never knew the individual because the individual manipulated you and the individual gaslit you and intimidated you and they love bombed you. And so it's a hard, that is a really hard line to figure out, um, because you loved the individual, but the individual was lying from the beginning in some ways. Um, yeah, the ex that I was involved with was a covert, malignant, narcissistic sociopath. I'm not a doctor, I'll be the first to admit, but his patterns of behavior before me, during me, and after me have not changed. So, usually, like I said on my TikTok earlier in the week, I think narcissists think they are good for the planet because they reuse, recycle, and repeat. They, however, do not reduce or um, rinse. And I say that laughingly, lovingly, and seriously because, like I said, you think you know one person, but then you find out, um, as they are losing control, you find that you actually have a very different individual, and that very different individual is the real individual. The individual who makes everything sound great and loves you so dearly and loves who you are and loves where you're going and thinks you're wonderful and thinks you're the apple of their eye and the angel from heaven, that's not the reality. And I and it's heartbreaking because that's the part that you believe. That's the part that you fell for. Hook, line, and sinker. But that is not the reality. And as Carol just said, yes, they they listen to you very carefully. They watch you. They spend hours interrogating you, and then they use all that information against you. They are very careful um, about what they're doing, and they're very good at it. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know how else to explain to you, but they are very dangerous. Um, it's, I know when I went to counseling, my counselor told me that I needed to grieve what never existed. And I'm like, what? And he said, in your mind, the relationship was real. In your mind, it was everything you desired. But in their mind, it was nothing. You were a means to an end. And that's really hard to swallow, because you are attached to what they first presented. But what they first presented was the game. And sadly, the game, it's played in such a way, honestly, they're playing chess while you're playing checkers. Okay? They're very good at what they do. They're like the snake oil salesman. I have the best product and you need it, and I have it. And so they keep showing it to you, and they keep showing to you that it does all the things they say it does. And then as you get farther into the relationship, you begin to notice that maybe it doesn't quite do what they say it does, but it does a little bit. And so that little bit makes you think, well, I'll take it again because maybe I didn't take enough, or maybe I didn't do this or didn't do that. And honestly, the snake oil doesn't do anything that it says. But you believe them. And when you believe them, that's how they hook you. And then as you try to break away, then the snake oil salesman becomes more intimidating, more upset. These are called narcissistic rage or narcissistic injury. This is often when people are arrested. The police are called on them. They start all the legal things. When you don't play the game anymore. So in the beginning, you're playing checkers and they're playing chess. And then it switches. You figure out that they're playing checkers and you start playing checkers back. I'm sorry. You're playing checkers, they're playing chess. Then you figure out what's going on and you start playing chess against their chess. And that is when you start to see a lot of rage and a lot of injury and a lot of violence and screaming and drama and chaos and confusion. And then, until you actually, as Carol said, until you walk away and make the promise to yourself, no contact. That means you won't be looking on social media for them. You won't be trying to find them. You won't be asking people about them. All that. When you can get to that point, okay, and you start focusing on self-care and self-love and healing your trauma, only then will you truly walk away completely. Because as much as you have left physically and perhaps mentally, you haven't left all of it behind emotionally. Or you leave physically and you leave emotionally, but mentally you still want to understand. You can't understand bullshit. That's just the bottom line. There is no making sense of what never makes any sense, because you are applying what you know and believe about love to an individual who does not have the same ability, desire, or empathy for such. So, one of the things is people will always ask, well, why did you stay? I posted something earlier on my Facebook page because I'm very open. I understand that their abuse rests in the lies, the secrets, and the privacy. So here's one thing. I was groomed, conditioned, love bombed, manipulated, lied to, took advantage of, triangulated, gaslighted, unconsciously brainwashed, confused, devalued, discarded, while still being trauma bonded and insidiously abused by a calculated narcissist without even knowing what was happening to me. That's powerful. I'm going to read that again. I was groomed, conditioned, love bombed, manipulated, lied to, took advantage of, triangulated, gaslighted, unconsciously brainwashed, confused, devalued, discarded, while still being trauma bonded and insidiously abused by a calculated narcissist without even knowing what was happening to me. And people still asked, why didn't you just leave? I hope the world gets a better understanding of abuse dynamics. It is not as simple as that. Please don't shame victims. So much of our world and our system blames the victim and shames the victim. But the victim is unaware of what's happening. The victim is unaware of what is happening. And then once the victim basically has an opportunity to process and to analyze and to understand what's happening, it can still be really hard to break away. I know that in my own situation, it's laughingly, like I said, I laughingly, lovingly, and seriously share. But here's another one. The ex that I was with was a liar and a cheater. I mean, serial cheater. And we ain't talking cereal with milk. We are talking about relationships that were based on a lie. He would love bomb you while love bombing another, while love bombing another. So this meme says no one has more they're just friends than a narcissist who is banging all their exes. So narcissists have this line, it's a continuum. And wherever you are on that line, whether you were in their past, their present, or you're being love bombed for the future, they are constantly, that's why it's reuse, recycle, repeat. They are constantly looking back to see if they can torment a past person. They are massaging the present by making sure they're the victim and all of this kind of stuff to make sure that the new person or the current supply doesn't figure anything out, because they got to be the victim and you're the villain. And then what the current supply doesn't realize is they're already trying to replace that person. They're already trying to move on from that individual, because a narcissist, their need for whatever it is they have a need for, attention, money, opportunity, social connections, whatever, it's never enough. They don't just have an empty cup. They're not trying to just pour from an empty cup. They want a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger cup. And they will never be satisfied. You will never be enough. You will never do enough, be enough, support enough. Because just like you, Deneen, the narcissist that I was with also used his place in society where he was a victim to play a bigger victim than everyone around him. And as long as I was serving him as the only victim, we were good. But if I tried to serve others and he somehow got ignored or wasn't the only victim I was serving, then we had a problem. And so you'll never be enough. You'll never get it right. You'll never do enough. You'll never think the right thing. You'll never do the right thing. You'll never say the right thing. You'll never believe the right thing. Because if that were the case, then how would they manipulate you? So they need you to be the villain while they play the victim. And when they leave you, they do the same thing. Or if you leave them, they've got to play the victim. So that's why I say there's a line of people. They're always looking ahead, always looking back, and working the present. And it's a very insidiously disgusting type of abuse. And it, like I said, it is an extremely difficult abuse to understand and process. Um, Part of it is that people often associate abuse with physical and sexual. But narcissistic abuse may not actually encompass either of those. You can be in a narcissistic family. You could have a narcissistic coworker or boss. You could have a narcissistic brother or sister, mom or dad. Um, you could also have a narcissistic, grandparent. You could have a narcissistic relationship, whether you are male or female, LGBTQIA, it doesn't matter. Narcissism comes first to who they are. And, you know, while you're trying to unravel it, they're raveling you in. They're reeling you in. So while you're trying to process and figure out, well, why doesn't that make sense? And why did they tell that story last time that way, but now they're telling the story this way? I'm so confused. How come last time the car was yellow and this time the car is blue? And last time you were driving, but this time someone else is driving. And this time you don't own the car. And last time you were renting the car. There's all these details that are very, I think they get caught up in their own lies, although they believe what they're saying. And they can be very convincing. So while you're trying to untangle this tangled web of deceit, nothing makes any sense. And if you're not careful, you can really get into the rabbit hole of trying to understand what they're doing, but you'll never understand what they're doing. Yes, but Janine, we all in some ways have narcissistic traits or tendencies. That's self-preservation. But borderline personality disorder often comes from having a parent or someone in your life that was narcissistic. So your narcissism, I know you well enough to know that you have more empathy than you have narcissism. Yeah, you have more narcissism. You definitely have more empathy than narcissism. So, I believe you have narcissistic traits, but you are not a narcissist. Um, Borderline personality disorder. Most individuals who have borderline personality disorder are individuals who have been raised by or in close proximity to individuals with high levels of narcissism. And we know you do. We know you are. But your narcissistic tendencies, I believe a lot of that is reactive abuse. So that's another category of abuse. So when you are with a narcissist and you try to fight back, that's not being narcissistic. That's fighting back with reactive abuse. So when they act this way, you act this way and you come at them. And reactive abuse is not the same as narcissism. So, um, reactive abuse is self-preservation. So, um, in my own situation, one of the biggest reactive abuse episodes that I had, was me cussing him out. He recorded it. It's all over the internet. I, it's like everyone knows my favorite word is fuck you. So, um, he recorded me cussing him out, and okay, so it's me saying, 49 seconds of FUCK, and everybody knows that's my favorite word. So, post it wherever you like. It's like, I'm over it. If you haven't been on the receiving end of my F bomb, then probably you don't know me at all. Um, but that's what they do. And they drive you, they provoke you to those moments where you react. And they're ready with a tape recorder and a pencil to take notes, so they can make sure that you never forget the one time you blew up at them, hoping you'll forget the 5 million times they blew up at you over something that you didn't even understand was a problem. So that is, that's just part of it. That's part of the game. Um, are you going to Cracker Barrel again? Because if you're going to Cracker Barrel again, you need to pick me up some biscuits and some butter. Or better yet, their dumplings. I love Cracker Barrel. Good night, Janine. I don't know why she's saying good night. It's only 7:50 where she is. It's not even 8 o'clock. She's getting ready to go eat dinner. Ooh, the Thai place. The Thai place. Okay. Well, after I end this broadcast, I am going to eat my brownie. So for those of you that have a Starbucks near you, or you don't have a Starbucks near you, you should drive to a Starbucks that's close by and get their double chocolate brownie. I'm just going to tell you that you will be happy that I told you, and you'll be upset because it's going to mess up your budget. But it's worth it. And if you warm it up and put some whipped cream on it and put some and they will warm it for you. They will put some whipped cream on top, and they will add some caramel drizzle if you want them to. I have not gone that far yet, but I'm going to tell you that I got some whipped cream in my refrigerator, and I'm going to try it out tonight. So, well, I don't know what happened to our guest. As I said earlier, she has a lot of online trolls. Someone reached out to me earlier to tell me all about, real change should be forewarned. And when I came back at them and said, I'm a survivor of narcissistic abuse, bring it on, they deleted everything. And that was that. Plus, their profile was his profile, but with a female name. So, if you're going to come at me, you need to do better than that. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end tonight's broadcast. I am going to double check and make sure that Victoria is all right. And next week, we may be able to have Victoria and my other guest on for maybe a discussion about the United Kingdom and the United States at the same time. I apologize, but I hope that some of my own knowledge eases your mind about why it's so hard and why it's so confusing, why it is so difficult to leave this kind of relationship. And I also hope that if you're interested in the box, please be sure to let me know. Tomorrow, I'm only doing 20 boxes. I really want to get the groundwork laid, all of the logistics figured out, and then next year we're going to grow. So, but this year we're doing 20. And the box comes out February, March, May, June, August, September, November, December. I'm already working a little bit on November, December's box. I've pretty much got May and June's box figured out, and I'm also working on August, September's box. So, if you catch me up late at night, it's probably because I'm shopping, looking, thinking, processing, and putting stuff together. So, thank you so much. I'll see you next Tuesday at 9 p.m. So please come back and join us. And I've already confirmed one guest for next week. And like I said, I'll double check on Victoria. So thanks, everybody. Have a great night. And if you're in this kind of relationship, even if you haven't left yet, start putting yourself first. You will see a different side of the individual that you are with, and it'll be clearer why you need to leave. Because nothing a narcissist hates worse is someone who is putting themselves first before the narcissist. So if you begin to break away and start to self-love and self-care, you're going to see a different side of them. And hopefully seeing that different side of them will help you to leave. But as we always say, when you get ready to leave is actually the most dangerous time when leaving an abusive relationship. So let me put up, this is the 1-800 National Domestic Hotline, 1-800-799-7233. Please call that number if you are dealing with domestic violence, whether it be physical, sexual, social, intellectual, financial, mental, emotional. Please call 1-800-799-7233 and be sure to talk to them about what is happening. And yes, as Carol said, make a plan. And only tell the individuals who will be helping you or who need to know. Tell no one else. Tell no one, especially anyone that has contact or information, that could tell the narcissistic individual, because you do not want them to know that you are getting ready to leave. And any abuse situation. Okay. Billy, I understand completely. I understand that she has a lot of online trolls. Tell her not to worry, and that we will hopefully be in touch next week, and I'll reach out to her again after I end the podcast. So thanks, everybody. Have a great night. And if you hit the replay, put hashtag replay. If you need me, reach out, messenger, wherever. I'm completely public. So have a great night. Bye.